Hey everyone. Um, in our last class, we didn't really have enough time to talk in as much detail as I would have liked about your homework that I wanted you to do. So I wanted to take a few minutes to try and explain that now. And honestly, if you have any questions and we need to talk about it more on Monday, that will be fine. But I think it's pretty straightforward once I explain it to you. So, first thing you notice here is on the homework I have read pages 145 through 148. That's an essay that we're going to be working with in class on Monday. So if you've read it ahead of time, you will be able to do the work in class much easier than if you haven't. So the only thing you have to really do with that is just read it. You don't have to answer any of the questions that follow it. You don't have to do any writing about it or anything. Just read those pages. Because the other part of your homework is asking you to create your own, what I call a rhetorical situation audit. So if you remember, I kind of showed you for a minute or two in class an example of one that I've created in chart format, where I can put the title of the project at the top, and then over on the side I have what I'm going to put in these spaces in the middle. So I always start with whatever inquiry question we're working on. So we'll be talking more as we get into Project 1 about inquiry questions and how to develop those. So you don't have to worry about the actual information that goes in these boxes right now. You just have to create your own chart or map or outline or however you want to do it. You should make this a tool that you will be able to use because you will be doing one of these for each of your projects that we do. So make it something that you can use, and if you don't really like the way it turned out after the first project or the first time you use it, you can always change it into a different format. So along the side, we have the inquiry question, and then we have those same things we've been talking about in class the last couple of classes: purpose, genre, audience, voice, media, and design. And then I have a space for other requirements because that's where you can put in things like page length and requirements like, does it have to have a works cited page? Does it have to have a cover page? Those kinds of things can go in there, and any reminders that you would want for yourself would go in there. So that's the first part of your toolbox that I'm asking you to create. The other things that I would like you to do are to think through your own needs and maybe past practices when it comes to brainstorming, organizing research, and organizing your writing. If you refer to chapter 2 in your textbook, they cover all of these things and they give you some examples. For example, when they talk about brainstorming, they talk about doing some free writing, and they talk about doing clustering or mapping, whatever you would like to call it. So you can make your own like templates that you could use, or you can simply make a list of reminders, say during brainstorming I should consider doing these things. 1, a mapping or clustering, 2, making lists, and 3, making a mini outline or things like that. Things that you think might work for you or have worked for you in the past. And do the same thing for when it comes to organizing your research. How are you going to organize all of the notes that you're taking? What format do you think you might want to use for taking notes? And that's something we can add to as we go, but right now I just want you to think about and get yourself started with some tools that you can use. You may also want to look through and see where they have like there's a sample student outline, there's a revision checklist of 5 steps of revision later on. And another thing that might be useful is on page 31 in your textbook, they have rhetorical strategies to develop your writing. So you might want to copy down that chart as one of your pieces of writing tool that you would like to have in your little toolbox. There's not a specific, other than the rhetorical situation, and then having a couple of different tools to use. I'm not asking you for specific things because I want them to be things that you can use. So each person's different, each person has different needs, and will approach things, in their own way. So if what you need is a set of note cards, then just write that down on your paper that you're going to turn into your folder and say, I need a set of note cards. Now, speaking of your folders, let's take a quick look so that we make sure that everyone knows how to get into your folders. So 7:45, I have your folders. 9:30, I have your folders. I'm just going to use one of my own folders so that we don't accidentally get into somebody else's work right now, and show you how to do this. So when you go into, you have to open the folder, and then to create a document, you come over here to New, and then you choose your document. If you want a regular document, like a kind of like a Word document, or if you want to make some sort of a spreadsheet. I don't know why you'd want to do that for this class, but if you do, if that works for you, you can choose Google Sheets, or you can choose Google Slides, and there are more tools as well. You probably won't need forms, but maybe you want drawings, or maybe you want to come down here to Jamboard. Jamboard's kind of a fun tool, but I'll tell you about that in a different video. But then you just choose the one that you want, and since this folder's been shared, it's asking me that question, and I just say yes because I'm going to delete this file anyway. But then the way the Google Docs work is you can start typing right there, and then if you just come and click right here, it automatically names it with whatever you have in this first line. But you can give it whatever name you want. You don't have to do that. You can change the font and the size. Don't go any smaller than 11, but you can go a little bit bigger if you'd like to. You can change your text color. You can add highlighting, all kinds of stuff that you can do in Word you can do in Google Docs. It's not as fancy, but it does what it needs to do. So that's your basics. So when you've decided on your formats for things, if you hand draw them or write them, you can scan them or take a photo of them and add them into your folder. And to do that, you're going to come back to this plus right here, and you'll do a file upload. So whatever images, whether they're scanned images or photos, you can just do a file upload, and it'll bring up your file thing, and then you can choose what you want and click on it and add it in that way. Okay, so this should get you started on your homework. If you have any questions, please email me as soon as you can so that I can get that taken care of. Otherwise, we'll talk about it in class on Monday. Right. Have a great weekend. Oh, there will be more videos coming soon.